If you're watching this video, you have thought about probably selling your home, but maybe you've stood in your kitchen and looking at those 1985 cabinets and thinking, there's no way I can sell this home without updating everything first. So you start planning new kitchen, new bathrooms, new flooring, and all of a sudden you're looking at $30,000, $40,000, maybe even $50,000 in update. And here's the honest truth. You're not going to get a lot of that money back. In fact, you might actually be hurting your chances of selling your home. Let me explain. Today, I'm going to show you exactly which updates are a complete waste of your money when selling an older home. And more importantly, the small, inexpensive changes that will actually help you sell your home faster and for more money. And stick with me because at the end, I'm going to give you the one thing you absolutely must do before listing your home, and it costs almost nothing, and a lot of people don't do it. Okay, so here's what happens. You live in a home that's 30, 40, 50 years old. We see these type of homes a lot in Atlanta, these 40s and 50s ranches. Maybe it needs some TLC. The kitchen maybe hasn't been updated since the 90s, and the bathrooms still have the original tile, and the flooring is well worn because you've had pets and kids and everybody just living in it. And you start feeling a certain way, maybe embarrassed because you go on Zillow and you see the gorgeous HGTV ready homes with white kitchens and marble countertops, and you think, how am I supposed to compete with that? So you convince yourself you have to update everything or you won't be able to sell your house. But here's what actually happens. You spend $40,000 on a kitchen remodel, you update the bathrooms, and you refinish the floors. And then you list the house, and buyers come through and say, we love the house, but it's not quite what we're looking for, or we want to come in and update the kitchen, even though you just updated the kitchen, but they probably just want to do it their own way. And you spent $40,000 on something the buyer is likely going to completely change anyway. That's not getting your money back. That's lighting your money on fire. And here's the other problem. It's just the financial stress of all of this. A lot of homeowners think that they have to make these updates, but maybe they just don't have the time or they just don't have the financial resources for them. So they put the brakes on selling. They delay listing because they're trying to save up for renovations or just trying to figure out what to do to maximize their profits for their house. But here's the thing, you don't have to. And if you're in a situation where you really need to move, maybe for a job, for family, for whatever reason, you're creating unnecessary stress and delaying your life because of updates that maybe in the long run won't even help you that much. So let's talk about what you should avoid, and then I'll tell you what you can actually do instead for way less money that will actually improve your profits a lot more. Okay, the number one update you need to avoid is a full kitchen remodel. And I'm talking about ripping out the cabinets, replacing the countertops, new appliances, the whole 9 yards. This is the most expensive update you can make, and it's also the one where you're least likely to get your money back. Here's why. Kitchens are extremely personal. Buyers have strong opinions about what they want and what they don't want. Some people want white cabinets, some people want the wood. Some people want quartz countertops while others may be stuck on granite. Some want a huge kitchen island and some want more counter space. So when you spend $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 updating your kitchen to your taste, you're betting that a home buyer is going to walk in and love exactly what you did. And I will tell you just from personal experience, it is a bad bet. People walk into these kitchens that have been updated to the nines all the time, and they still walk in and go, well, we could do this, we could do that. They just want to customize it to themselves. So they're either going to offer you less money because they're planning to redo it anyway, or they're just going to skip your house altogether because they don't want to pay for updates that they're just going to tear out. Stick with me because in a few minutes, I'm going to tell you the small, inexpensive things that you can do to your kitchen that will give you the biggest bang for your buck, and it will make it look fresh, it will make it look clean without spending tens of thousands of dollars. But first, let's talk about the second update you need to avoid. The second update to avoid is a full bathroom remodel. Same logic as the kitchen, but bathrooms are expensive to update, and buyers want to do it their own way, their own tile choices, vanity styles, shower versus tub. These are all very personal choices. So if you spend $15,000, $20,000 updating your bathroom, you're hoping that that same buyer walks in and loves your choices. And again, it's just a huge gamble. Instead, there are way less expensive ways to freshen up a bathroom without doing a full remodel, and I'll get to those in just a second. The third update to avoid is replacing all your flooring. Now, I'm not saying you don't touch up your floors at all, but I'm just saying don't spend $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 putting in new hardwood or the luxury vinyl plank throughout the entire house. Here's why. Flooring is another one of those things where buyers have very strong preferences. Some people want hardwood, some people want carpet in the bedroom, some want tile in the bathroom, some want the luxury vinyl plank. So if you replace all your flooring with something that you think looks neutral and appealing, there's still a good chance that the buyer is going to want something different. Now you've spent a ton of money on something that didn't actually make the house more valuable to them. Now, does this mean that you shouldn't do anything to your floors? No. There are small, inexpensive things that you can do, and I'm going to cover those in just a second. But replacing all of those floors in your house before you sell, it's just not a smart financial move. The fourth update to avoid is major landscaping or outdoor projects. Now, I don't really feel like a lot of people do this, but I feel like it's just worth mentioning really quick. I'm talking about building a deck, installing a patio, or doing a full landscape redesign. They are expensive, and honestly, I just don't feel like buyers appreciate landscaping and they don't understand the money that goes into them, so just avoid that altogether. And here's the thing about outdoor projects. They're nice to have, but they're not deal breakers. A buyer isn't going to pay you $20,000 more for your house because you just built a deck. They might appreciate it, but it's not going to move the needle on your sales price. So if your backyard is functional and presentable, just leave it. Don't spend money on big outdoor upgrades. Okay, now let me tell you what you can actually do for these things instead on your older home to get it ready to sell without completely draining your checking account. The updates that I'm going to cover are easy to do yourself, or you can hire out pretty cheap, and will make a huge difference in how your home shows and how quickly it sells. The number one thing you need to do, and this is at the very tip top of my list every single time, is deep clean your home. I cannot tell you how many homes I walk into and they just aren't very clean. And I cannot stress enough what an impact this makes on agents and buyers alike. And I'm not talking about a quick wipe down with paper towels. I'm talking about elbow grease, magic eraser, Murphy's oil soap, the whole 9 yards. Clean inside the oven, clean the baseboards, clean the grout or redo it if necessary. Clean the windows, clean the light fixtures, clean absolutely everything. A deep clean makes your home feel cared for, and it costs you almost nothing but just time and effort. And if you have wood cabinets that are dated or worn, just give them a fresh coat of paint. White or light gray cabinets instantly make a home feel more modern and clean. And here's the thing, painting cabinets is not expensive. And a lot of times you can do it yourself for a few $100s, or you can hire somebody for a couple grand. Now, if you've never painted cabinets before, please practice first. Pick a cabinet door that's not super visible and test your technique. You want to make sure it looks good. A bad paint job is worse than no paint job, trust me. But if you do this right, it's one of the best returns on investments you can get. And if you decide to do it yourself, honestly, I recommend renting a paint sprayer from Home Depot or Lowe's. They will come out looking professional, but again, if this is not in your wheelhouse, please hire someone. Another easy, inexpensive update is replace the cabinet hardware. New drawer pulls and knobs can completely change the look of your kitchen for $50 to $100, and it's a small detail that makes a huge difference. And if you have tile backsplash or tile in the bathroom, clean it or just regrout it altogether. Dirty grout makes kitchens and bathrooms feel old and frankly just disgusting. Fresh clean grout makes it feel well maintained, and you can buy grout cleaner or hire someone to do that for like a couple $100, and it's a huge visual impact and just obviously low cost. And hey, if your faucets are old or leaking or just not attractive, replace them. A new faucet in the kitchen or bathroom is, I don't know, 100 to maybe $300, and it's an easy DIY project if you're handy. If not, a plumber can do it for relatively cheaply. And it's a small change that is also, it just makes a huge difference. And here's another one. If you have light fixtures from the 1980s with the fluorescent bulbs, they have to go. You can replace them with modern, inexpensive fixtures for $50 to $150 each. Again, if you're comfortable with basic electrical work, you can do it yourself. If not, hire an electrician. It's a quick job and it won't cost you much. And a pro tip, make sure all your light bulbs are the same color and get the warm temperature bulbs, not those blue daylight bulbs. Those make your home feel sterile and more like a doctor's office more than warm and inviting. If your walls are scuffed, dirty, or painted in bold colors, repaint them to neutral tones. Light gray, beige, soft white, fresh paint makes everything look clean and move-in ready, and it's one of the cheapest updates that you can do and the biggest bang for your buck. And here's something else that I really recommend you do. Just walk through your home and fix all those little things. Patch holes in the walls, tighten the loose cabinet doors, replace the cracked outlet covers, fix the leaky faucets. These are small, inexpensive fixes, but buyers notice them. And when they see the long list of deferred maintenance, they start wondering the bigger things that you've been ignoring. And here's something that most sellers skip that I highly recommend is get your own home inspection before you list. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but it can put you on the offense, not the defense. And you find out what's there. You fix it on your own terms, and you can hand that report to a potential buyer up front. And that kind of transparency builds confidence, and it can save you thousands in post-inspection negotiations. And the whole thing runs, I don't know, less than like $700 for a general home inspection. And for what's at stake, it is a drop in the bucket. And here's the other thing. You don't need to do major landscaping, but you do need to make sure the front of your house looks inviting. Mow the lawn, trim the bushes, plant some flowers around your mailbox, power wash the driveway and walkway, clean the front door, or just give it a fresh coat of paint. First impressions matter, and curb appeal is the first thing buyers see when they pull up. And finally, declutter and depersonalize your home. Take down the family photos. Now, I'm not saying you have to take down every family photo, but if you have a hallway full of 50 family photos, maybe just minimize it a little bit. And clear off countertops, remove excess furniture. You want buyers to be able to envision themselves living in your home, and that's hard to do if it's packed full of your stuff. Look, I get it. If you're selling an older home, it's tempting to think you need to update everything to compete with newer homes on the market. But the truth is, major updates are just so expensive. And you're not going to get 100% of your money back unless you update the entire house, which will likely be more time consuming, stressful, and way more expensive than you begin to think. Trust me. And buyers today, they want to customize homes to their own taste. And they're not going to pay you a premium for updates that they're just going to change anyway. So instead of spending $50,000 on a kitchen remodel, spend $2,000 on paint and hardware and faucets and deep cleaning. You'll get way better return on your investment, and honestly, you'll just sell your home faster. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you on the next one.